It almost offends me when you go to a house and there's just a level of disregard when it comes to simple things that are so easily remedied, but set such a bad first impression.
Subconsciously to a buyer, if they look at the window and they see a patio that's full of weeds, they see a deficiency and a cost and a problem and just something discouraging them. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 341 of the Real Estate Podcast. Today, I'm here with a different guest today. We've got Chris Behie, and we're talking about fix it or forget it, relating to what you should or shouldn't do in preparation to sell your house. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Real Estate Podcast, your go-to source for raw, unfiltered stories and expert tips. Whether you're a buyer, seller, tenant, landlord, or realtor, join us as we dive into the world of real estate.
All right. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, good.
Excited to have you on today.
Thanks. It's been not too long, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I don't know that.
We haven't done one in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Before we were recording, what were we talking about? We said, well, let's wait and talk about it on the podcast. Oh, we were talking about leases, unrelated to today's conversation. But I thought it was interesting because you are submitting an offer to rent for a client to rent a basement apartment.
Correct.
As an aside, there's how many basement apartments available in Milton right now?
Over 80.
80 basement apartments.
Yes.
That's insane.
That's a lot. I've never seen it so high. And
5 years ago, there was maybe 8.
Yeah. Well, I think that speaks to the climate we're in now, as well as provincial mandate to allow for it as well.
Yes. Well, yeah, we were talking about that too, because a lot of people still don't know that municipalities have to catch up or have to abide by the provincial requirements and how they allow for intensification. Where, for example, Milton would previously only allow a basement apartment in a detached house.
Correct.
No semis, no towns. Now they have to allow in all types.
Yeah.
And they also had to make concessions on parking requirements because before they had more parking requirements for additional units, which a lot of houses couldn't accommodate, which was what we were talking about. And that is this particular property.
Which we have listed. For a while now.
Yeah. So it's a semi?
It is a semi, yes.
Yeah. Semi with a single wide driveway. Upper unit's rented. The upper unit tenant gets use of the garage and the closest parking space to the garage.
Yes.
And there's no sidewalk.
There is no sidewalk, yes.
And then the basement apartment tenant gets use of the end of the driveway.
Yes. Which is not uncommon, but it's also...
No, but it's not ideal.
It is, let's face it, it's a huge pain in the ass.
Well, and hence...
For both parties.
Why it's been a bit challenging to find a tenant.
For sure.
But it's becoming more commonplace. So I think it was the same as, when they started building and selling condos with 0 parking spaces, right? For a lot of people, it took them getting used to, but in certain areas, it became the norm, and that's what was expected.
Well, as Milton changes from more developed and more transit, we're going to see more and more people move in that rely on that and that don't have a vehicle or maybe have one vehicle where, 10 years ago, everyone had multiple vehicles.
So what would you do? Let's say you were the tenant in this situation. How would you want to make arrangements to accommodate that? Because obviously, if you're the basement apartment tenant, you're parked at the end of the driveway. Upper tenant's got to go to work.
Well, first of all, this particular unit has been listed for a while, and I think everyone on the team has received multiple inquiries about this one. Make sure that everyone is well aware of the situation, that it's not normal or less than ideal. Having said that,
not yet.
For sure. So in this case, I think it just needs to be communication clear in advance and set expectations and boundaries as well. But you can imagine if you had like an emergency in the middle of the night, you're get a doorbell ringing or
right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Right. So
I think best case scenario, if you're a landlord with a property like this, if you can widen the driveway, do it.
For sure.
And to that note, because there are some that maybe look like it can be done, but that doesn't necessarily mean it can
comply to the city requirements for that. But I think this ties into what we're talking about as well a little bit.
Just a quick question before we move on, though. Would you as a tenant, agree to exchange keys with the other tenant?
No.
And move each other's cars?
Probably not.
Okay.
You would?
I think so. It depends on the tenant. Like if it's someone like, maybe you start off not doing that and then it's like, dude, this is really inconvenient. Just take a spare key.
I'm not a trusting person like that though. Maybe I think you're too trusting.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
All right, let's get on to today. So today
Awesome.
our topic is fix it or forget it. And we have several items that each of us will provide our input on, whether we would fix it or forget it as it relates to getting these things done or not done before listing your home for sale.
Right. So essentially, does it add value or doesn't it?
Right. That's what it all comes down to. All right, Robbie, hit us with the first one. Outdated honey oak kitchen cabinets. So the kitchen still has the original honey oak cabinets from 1996. Do you paint them, replace the doors, or just leave them and stage around them?
I think it really depends on the condition of them, but I would be inclined to say paint them.
Yeah.
I think for the money that you spend to actually complete the change, I think it's worth it. So have them done professionally, or make sure you do a good job and change out the hardware. It makes a huge difference. I think bathrooms and kitchens may sell
100%. I would agree on all those points. There is the one kind of caveat, which I think applies to most of the things we're going to see, I'm assuming, and that is it really depends on the house.
Right.
Right? Like if it's a tear down or there's instances where you don't do anything other than clean it up and make sure it's been well maintained. But, painting cabinets is high on our list of recommendations.
Generally recommend it. And even bathroom I know it's different, but even sometimes the bathroom cabinets make a huge difference.
And the hardware too.
Yeah.
Like you were saying.
My one house, I did the bathroom cabinets myself prior to selling. Just rolled it on, took a couple of days. It was super easy to do. And then I've also had it done in a kitchen professionally as well. And it's held up really, really well. It looks great. And it makes a huge difference.
Well, we had all the cabinets here painted before we moved in.
Yeah.
And we're happy we did.
So painted cabinets.
Fix it.
Do it. Fix it. Next.
A wall full of family photos. I like those walls. I have one at home.
Yeah.
But the answer is obvious. You gotta at least swap out the photos.
For sure. And I'm not sure if you saw the before photos of Heaven, our most recent sale that just happened.
I did not see the before photos.
I think I mentioned to you that they had the placket, what is it called? The squares, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere. And it was actually kind of cool. Like you walk through the
like in one room, you mean?
Full hallway and full dining room wall, like floor to ceiling.
Oh my goodness.
And I mean,
were they like tiles?
The tiles.
No, but were they like proportionately aligned, or were they kind of
was
like mosaic,
solid,
or
it was this pixel, like a full wall.
Oh wow!
And it was kind of cool because you could see your memories. And I'm guilty of not maybe doing enough of photos and stuff in the house. This would be probably extreme the other way, but photos for sure. You need to fix it. Get rid of it. And for me, the way I explain it is you don't want people staring at photos as they normally would. You want them focusing on the house, the features, and it's just a better overall impression if it's removed.
I think it's something that you can't even really convey properly, in that it's like when we make suggestions on different ways to improve your odds of success, every little thing may have just a minuscule impact on the overall experience
for a
buyer. And they may be things you can't even really convey the value of, but this is a lot of subliminal, subconscious stuff where you really want the buyer to walk through and be able to envision themselves there. And even if they're not consciously thinking of it, if they see pictures of another family, it's hard for them to do that. For
sure. I think it's one of those things where the total sum of everything we recommend is greater than the individual things, right?
Yeah, well put.
Yes.
Not very often you come up with wise sayings like that, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you.
Number 3, frosted glass. Oh my goodness. Glass block window in the bathroom. When was that even a thing? That was like the 80s, 70s?
It's been a while. It hasn't been in.
I don't think that was 90s. I
mean, it's one of those things where in my mind, unless you do like a full gut, you're probably better off just to leave it. Because I don't think the cost to change it out, to switch it out may be worth it. But it really depends on how dated we're talking here.
Yeah, I would agree. In most cases, I'd say forget it.
Yeah.
And just accept
right. Because I feel like we're dealing with a dated home to begin with, and someone's probably going to gut it anyways.
Yeah.
That being said, I think a lot of these things, if you have the means and to do it yourself and you're handy and you have enough lead time into it, that may change things as well.
Yeah. Just be very critical in analyzing your skill set.
Yes. And I do think it's one of those things where if you are taking the time to replacing, make sure you're doing choices that are to a broader style.
Yeah.
You never want to design a house for your own needs, especially if you're planning not being there for a long time, because style is very subjective.
I agree. So forget it.
I think so.
Next. Unfinished basement with workout equipment. The basement isn't finished, but it is set up as a makeshift gym. Do you leave it staged that way or clear it out? What do you think?
I think you leave it.
I think so too. I think basements are, even unfinished, they're a great space for people to envision their kids hanging out.
For sure.
I had tons of basements I've walked into where they're unfinished, but they have a rug and a TV and a console, and the kids are down there playing video games. And if the parents are walking through the house with their agent and the kids are there, the kids will see that as a fun space for them to play, and that'll, get them all talking. And
yeah, for sure. My recommendation with basements that are unfinished or even gyms is to try and still declutter or organize it the best as possible.
Yeah.
You want people to be able to see the outside walls if you can, and make sure that you can show it as a dry, clean space. So although they're low priority in terms of getting your home ready, it is good to have them decluttered as much as possible.
Yeah.
Particularly if it's a nice basement, maybe it has big windows, they can see adding a potential, but it's one of those things in my eyes, an unfinished basement is better than a poorly finished basement.
yeah, I agree. I mean, in fact, a lot of unfinished basements that are very tidy and clean and maybe have painted floor or something very basic, you'll hear a lot of compliments come from the buyers.
100%.
So that's, forget it.
Forget it.
Original broadloom carpet in bedrooms. I don't actually know what broadloom means. I mean, it's always... Anyways, original carpet in bedrooms.
I would say fix it. If it's original, if
it's original, we're saying like your house is maybe 15 to 20 years old. It's probably worth replacing it.
Yeah. Also, too, the cost of flooring, I think, is not as much as what it used to be. You can make some good choices to have a high impact. Generally speaking, I think it's fair to say most people prefer carpet-free homes. I
would say you're probably right, but there are... I'd say still a fair number that like carpet in the bedrooms.
Yeah. So, I don't mind. And personally, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It is for a lot of people with allergies and dust.
Oh, yeah.
It is one of those things. If it's original, it's probably worth fixing.
100%. I would agree. The only thing I'll say before we move on with that one is it says, do you swap it out for vinyl plank? I would say at a minimum, just replace it with new carpet.
Yeah.
And if you are doing vinyl plank, make sure that whatever the bedroom, where the bedroom meets the hallway, it should be the same, either the exact same material and color, or you just keep it carpet.
Right.
Next. Popcorn ceiling in the living room.
Oof.
This, I would say forget it. And the only reason, again, unless you are handy and you want to do it yourself, because it's not a cheap thing to do. It's messy. Certainly there's people that hate it, but
I'm not offended by popcorn ceiling the way some people seem to be. I do think it's one of those things where if you're going to move in, a lot of these things, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it from day one when you move in. This one I would not do for sale. It's not worth the time or the aggravation in terms of return you're going to get on it.
No. Again, the only exception being if there's an obvious problem with it, if it's discolored because of smoking or just naturally.
If it was patched at one time, maybe, because it's really hard to match popcorn ceiling.
Yeah. So that might be worth considering, because then you're eliminating any potential objections or concerns that a buyer has about, what happened before? Why is it patched? Whatever.
So I think we're safe to say, forget it. Yeah. For the most part.
For the most part. Yeah. Cracked front walkway. A few cracks in the front concrete walkway, cosmetic but visible, as we're fixing the carpet. So I guess this is assuming you've got like a stamped concrete, poured concrete walkway.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the size and if it's shifted. And
if it's shifted,
that's a big job.
Yeah, it is, but it's relatively quick for it, like the way they are able to adjust it now. But
I've seen videos where they inject stuff.
Yeah.
If that's a fix for it, then that might be worth considering. And then, of course, curb appeal is always high on our list.
For sure. If it's minor cracks, I think most people accept that. I mean, you see minor cracks in basement flooring, and that's perfectly normal. But if it's major and shifted, I think that should be addressed.
The exception being if it's shifted so bad that you think someone's just going to replace it.
Again, I mean, I think that
consult your real estate agent.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's some people's will look past that, and other people will hyper focus on it. So if you can eliminate that objection, and it's cost effective, but I think it really depends on the scope. If it's a small walkway versus a whole driveway, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say from my experience, I would say forget it.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I would tend to agree on that one, but again, I think it depends on how bad.
There's a lot of variables.
Is.
Yeah. All right. Inconclusive. Mouldy caulking around the tub or shower.
I think you can speak for both of us here.
Always a fix it sort of task.
Is it ever when you walk into? It's very common to see. First of all, like how many times a week do you see?
Oh, it's crazy.
But to me, it's unforgivable if you're trying to sell a house and someone hasn't. Your agent hasn't told you or offered to even do it themselves because it's super easy to do.
Settle down there.
Oh, okay. But it's one of those things where moldy caulking should never happen in a home for sale.
It's very easy to remedy. And if you can't do it yourself, it's relatively affordable for
you can get a professional handyman in to do it very cost effectively.
Yeah. 100% fix it.
1,000%.
Number 9, please. Red room. This is referring to paint color.
I would say fix it.
You know, so I have this weird thing with certain colors. I think can add a lot of character if you're staging it properly.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not a color person.
I'm gonna lean towards forget it.
I would say hard fix.
And the only exception for me would be if it's like there's several rooms that are different colors, then it becomes an issue. But if it's one room, I kind of like that. You can add character and you can decorate it and have the right.
Oh, I just think too many people look at it as like, especially if it's a dark color. I mean, multiple coats. I mean,
I had one room that was red walls, purple ceiling, and a ceiling fan where each blade was like a different color of the rainbow.
Yeah.
That we insisted on everything being
for
replaced.
Sure. I mean, color is just one of the things that's so subjective. I mean, some people may not like the white and bright is definitely the trend and where we typically recommend, but I do think it appeals to the most amount of people. And
in the overrated trend video we did recently, Steve Gicchetto, when asked what's an overrated trend, he said white.
I do think that white as a whole is gone, but there's soft whites, warm whites, off creams that are very much on trend now, which is a different conversation, obviously, but yes.
So this was
I would say fix it.
I'm saying forget it.
You're wrong.
Next. Weeds between paver stones in your patio. That's an obvious you fix. Have to get out there and clean it out.
Yeah, it almost offends me when you go to a house and there's just a level of disregard when it comes to simple things that are so easily remedied, but set such a bad first impression.
100%. Yeah. And maybe you didn't pay to install a patio, but it's expensive to have things like that, nice things anyways, if it's done nicely. So you're doing yourself a disservice by not presenting it properly.
For sure. And you want people to envision that backyard oasis or the ease of care that patios really should be. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't take much to spray some weed killer on it and just pull them out.
Well, and just to elaborate on that too, I think subconsciously to a buyer, if they look at the window and they see a patio that's full of weeds, they see a deficiency and a cost and a problem and just something discouraging them, versus if they look at and see a patio that's not full of weeds and maybe had the new mortar put in, whatever, the sand, I can't remember the word. They see potential. They see space for having fun. They see value.
Yeah, and not work or expense.
So instantly, like the the cost or the differential in value is substantial.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, going back to the photos, that one thing may not make a tremendous impact, but when you start adding pros and cons, you want more pros and cons at the end of the day.
Well, for sure. If one of the buyers is like a huge into barbecuing and smoking and cooking out there all the time, like that's their playground. So.
Right. And I think a lot of these things too, it speaks to the level of care that the current owners had on the place. If they let this slide, what else did they maybe let slide as well, right?
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a fix it.
It's a definite fix it.
11, oversized sectional in a small living room. Well, that's why we stage. It's an obvious fix it.
Costs almost nothing to do.
Yeah. Throw it in the garage, have your realtor bring in a new couch, stage the place properly because it makes it feel more spacious and it just looks better.
Having proper scale is really important for how people can envision the use of that space. And even if they're planning on using an oversized sectional, it's better for them to envision that themselves rather than not, right?
Yeah, agreed.
So fix it.
Fix it. Oh, that was quick. 12, dog crate and pet accessories in the kitchen. Certainly a dog crate is a fix it, but I think there are, this is what I'm on the fence with. Like there are ways to have signs of a pet that add to the ambiance and feel of the space. But
I would say unless it's like a built-in feature to the home, I would say fix it. I mean, we both love dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, cats, I'm okay-ish with. Yeah. But generally speaking, we're both huge pet people, but that doesn't mean everyone is.
No, for sure they're not.
When people think of pets, especially if they're not a pet person, damage, smell, wear and tear. So it's better just to remove it and eliminate that objection before it becomes one.
I would agree. I was kind of on the fence, and I think there are circumstances where I may still side on the forget it side, but it would have to be something that's really nice, like a really nice custom-made bowl.
Yeah, I'm still forget it unless it's a built-in feature.
You mean fix it?
Sorry, I'm a fix it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Unless it's a built-in feature.
Then you showcase it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, okay.
Someone will see that.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. You're fix it. Next. Holiday decorations still up. Yeah, I mean, if it's certainly February to October, take your Christmas lights down.
100%.
If it's any time outside of October, get rid of your pumpkins.
Yeah. See, I'm of a mix. If it's past the holiday, you have to fix it.
Yeah.
I'm under the belief I don't mind when homes are decorated for the season when they're on the market. However, I don't think they should be in the listing photos because again, that instantly dates it, especially if your home doesn't sell right away. Someone wants to set up a Christmas tree in a front window and it looks nice and the next people can envision opening presents in this great room with a tall tree.
Yeah.
Go for it. But not in the photos and certainly not past the holiday.
Yeah. Well, I think it's okay to be in photos as long as you're updating them.
Right.
Which, we had this conversation with a friend recently. There's a lot of listings, nice listings, like multi-million-dollar listings that still have snow.
I was noticing that today with a couple of relists.
How on earth is this happening? But it was interesting. Ariel and I once talked about the whole Christmas thing because there's a lot of people, and of course with immigration at all-time highs, there's a lot of people that don't celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
So for, people like us who do, our mindset is it can create a nice ambiance and make it feel warmer and contribute to a successful sale. But a lot of the buyers walking through don't celebrate. So how would we perceive them decorating for whatever holiday they celebrate with things that we're not familiar with? Do you know what I mean? So I wonder
100%.
how it's received on that end too.
Yeah, I think it's like anything else. So if it's done tastefully and it's not too over the top, I think it's generally received well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe hold off on that haunted house out front though.
But there's a lot of places that I guess I think it's Muslims perhaps, they have like a prayer room.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm walking through with someone who's not of that religion, that it's always becomes like a distraction.
I think that you need to separate kind of like holiday from religion, although a lot of holidays are religious based. We generally recommend to remove religious artifacts from the homes, no matter what it is, crosses above doors, or things like prayer rooms, because again, you want to attract the most amount of people. So my thing is holidays, okay, but religion should be kind of separate from state almost as well, right? So separate from sale.
Agreed. So holiday decoration still up is an obvious fix it.
Yes.
Black accent wall in a bedroom.
Robbie, have you been to my room before? No.
You have a black wall?
I do.
Okay.
I think it's called Gotham.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So
it's either Gotham or Black as Night. I'm not sure.
So where's your stance on it? Fix it or forget it?
I don't mind a single wall provided it's neutral. Like I don't mind dark colors if it's not too bright of dark colors. So like navy walls, black walls.
So would you say a feature wall, despite color, is more acceptable than a whole room? Like you'd be
100%.
So you'd be okay with a red wall.
I think dark, like,
but not a red room.
My style trends, and I think where I would differentiate that is if it's lime green, if it's like bright purple, if it's bright pink, it's probably a fix it.
Yeah.
If it's a navy, like a dark green, if it's a black, if it's a not as a I wanted to say offensive color. If it's not like a in your face color, I think it's a leave it. If it's super over the top, I think it's a fix it.
All right.
But black, I would say I love it.
All right, nice. A worn front door with character. Oh, I don't know. I guess that's who says it's character. Like my floors, we call them German scraped because our shepherd destroyed them. And I remember when he first scratched the floors, I was so fucking pissed.
I know. Oh, well, we've both been there with our dogs, right?
But then it just became like now I think it's character. But I think a lot of people walking in would be like, what happened here?
For sure. I think if you were to go sell your home, I mean, you would have to fix it.
I don't know. I was thinking about it the other day. I was kind of on the fence.
No, I think you would have to fix it. But a door, I think it really depends on, I think it should be freshly painted, ideally. If it's a home with character, like my listing in Vineland right now, second, it has kind of character doors or center door pulls.
Character is more design.
So the doors on that home, they have center pulls instead of offset. They have kind of 70 glass inlay as well. I think they add some character to it.
Yeah.
But the feedback has certainly been kind of mixed, if I'm being honest, in terms of people that would fix it right away. Mm-hmm. However, the cost of doing it versus not, and I don't know if the home would have sold any quicker if they did do it or not. So I think character stays. However, it needs to be not.
If it's in need
broken.
of repair, then you obviously need to fix it. But character is not a bad thing.
No, I like character.
Yeah. So this is this is a fix it, I suppose. Yeah.
I don't know. Or the way it's worded
depends on how you're interpreting.
Yeah,
next,
exactly.
A niche cutout in walls. I don't even know what that means. The awkward 2000s era cutouts in entryways or staircases. Fill them, leave them. What are they referring to?
Okay, so like if you have like they used to have like, for art, little cut-ins with arches.
Oh,
you see it, you don't see
just
them.
awkward. Yeah. I sold a house. Remember 22 Oasis?
Yes.
In Georgetown. In the second, it was like a multi-level.
Those were awful. Well, sorry.
No, it was weird. It was weird.
Those are awful.
In the family room,
loft, they had the square cut-ins.
Square cutouts, yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, it was a bit odd.
Well, even
like it might be fun for a kid.
Well, even a lot of homes, when you go up the stairs, it has like a platform or above the entranceway. There used to be very common to have a shelf where people would display their dust.
Well, that's what you get in a lot of houses where you have the 2-story foyer, and they just build a closet with nothing above it. Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of cutouts myself as a whole.
Me neither.
I mean, I don't think it's one of those things you necessarily fix if it's there, but it really depends on, I think, how much attention it's drawing away from the overall appeal of the home.
Yeah, I would say this is not something you need to fix. I would say forget it.
It is. It is what it is.
Yeah. Somebody will either cover it themselves or find something to put there.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 17, please. Bad DIY job. A clearly amateur backsplash install. Misaligned tiles, missing grout, or uneven lines. Patch it up. Or
Robbie, have you been to Adrian's house, Mr. DIY?
So first of all, my backsplash is ugly.
It's so ugly. I remember when you were putting it in.
Why didn't you tell me?
I told you back then.
Okay, but listen, it's installed properly.
I know. That's the problem with yours. So I joke. Adrian's actually very handy, and you do almost everything in your house yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. But I need. You know what though? I had a designer who now maybe I would say is not much of a designer, or she was just, complacent with wanting to keep me happy.
Maybe we should add oversized glass subway tiles to our list.
Maybe.
Okay. But in terms of bad do-it-yourself jobs, you got to fix it, I would think. It just speaks to when people see things that are done shady or obviously done themselves, it just makes people question what's behind the walls, what the quality of the workmanship is. So I would say you need to fix it. For the most part.
Well, I remember walking into one house and the guy was so proud of, you could tell he was so proud of everything he did.
They're always so proud of it.
Like he laid a cork floor somewhere in the kitchen, cork floor, but it was just like a roll of cork floor and it had like waves in it.
Oh my God.
And then he tiled the bathroom, but there was like a 1-inch gap between where the tile ended and the floor started.
People are so proud of their bad workmanship.
Oh, my goodness.
I had a listing once where I walked in and they were so proud of these hardwood floors, which were hardwood, but badly installed, badly stained. And it's it's a hard conversation to have when or a custom closet people do. And they're so proud of how they installed it. And it's like, it's got to come out.
Yeah. I kind of enjoy having those conversations now. I used to kind of tiptoe around them, but now I'm just like,
I think you and I are I think we're pretty good at having those honest conversations with people. Yeah. And I think it's one of those things where I know you put a lot of heart and soul into it, but we have to look at it, take the emotion out of it.
Yeah, 100%.
And you have to look at it in the eyes of the person.
Well, that's why they're hiring you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So fix it.
Next. Excluded items still install. You plan to exclude a beautiful dining room chandelier in the listing. Do you proactively remove it?
Fix it.
No, I say
no.
So there's actually great examples of this where it depends. I used to be of the mindset that if you're not including it, just remove it up front. Always. And then, as I was selling more, I noticed there was a lot of buyers I was representing where they weren't overly concerned by it. But I felt in many cases it helped to sell the house. So, and you can always negotiate. So I think if you
don't like it when it's something a hard no. So like say it's grandma's chandelier and the buyers are walking through the home and they fall in love with it. They put it in the offer. And then that becomes a negotiating point or a speed bump where if you just eliminate it from the get-go, that's not a focus of conversation. That's not an objection. I like to eliminate objections before they get there, right? Yeah. And if you're going to replace it anyways, why not do it off the bat? And I'm sorry, a lot of times what people want to include or want to take out of the sale.
I'll agree with what you're about to say.
They're fucking ugly.
Yeah.
Like for the most part.
Like really, why do you want to take it?
Exactly, right? It's more sentimental than anything else. So why not put in a new light fixture? Why not put in a new mirror?
Yeah.
Add value to your home. Get the advice of someone. Don't just pick it out yourself. Maybe ask a realtor. We'll get one of our designers to help pick it out. Something cost effective that will add value and not take away value to your home.
Yeah, I think there's instances where I would go on either side of that.
Yeah.
Depends on what it is. And in some cases, I think what you're planning to take maybe doesn't suit the space that well anyways.
Yeah.
So
a lot of times we see like light fixtures in kids' rooms or antique light fixtures, those type of things that don't often suit the space necessarily.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, we had one listing. We don't actually know, we're not listing anymore, but they had this beautiful chandelier and it was very expensive and it was stunning. It was really nice, but it didn't suit the style of the house at all. and they wanted to keep it. So we said, well, we'll select an option to replace it and just get, sort that out now. Because I think the new one would be more conducive to selling, and it was much more affordable.
Right.
So
I say fix it.
I'm leaning more towards forget it.
Okay. Again, you're wrong.
Oh, that's it. The Real Estate Podcast.
18.
There you go. Hopefully this has provided some insight to some people out there that are planning to sell.
I think the general theme of it, if you can address it before the sale, it's cost effective, do it. But also too, don't throw good money at bad. A lot of times we go through homes, we get the call from people, hey, I'm ready to sell my house. And they've done things or fixed things that they probably should have just left because it doesn't add or attract value to the home. Well,
and I would say that I would always encourage people. I had this discussion with a guy 2 days ago who he's decided most likely to wait several months, if not even a year, to sell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, listen, let's still do the staging consultation now so that you have the list of things to pick away at over that time so you know what to do. Because I know he would do things on his own without consulting me.
Right.
And chances are it wouldn't be done to what we would have recommended.
Right. And cost effectively as well, right? Because there's certain choices you can make that are very cost effective, that add a lot of value. And it helps the sale just go smoother.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thanks for watching or listening to this episode of the Real Estate Podcast. We hope we provided you some value and entertainment. If you did, make sure you subscribe and leave a comment, and we'll see you next week.